Hey everyone, welcome back to Morning Wood Railroad. Let's get this episode going. Hey everybody, it's Jim. Welcome back to Morning Wood Mountain Railroad. I know it's been a long time in between posts. We just had a lot going on. I bought a couple of large model railroad estates from my eBay store. Been banging on that. Been doing a few other things. Been dealing with a lot of snow, but I took out the hillsides and realigned this curve. Added this switch. It's going to go through that wall into my bedroom. I'm going to have a hidden staging yard back there. Part of the estates that I bought, some of the items you'll see out here on the board, and I want to go over the Kato Double switch, X switch as some kids call it. Several different things. Here comes the circus train. Denver Rio Grande passenger. Since my last posting, I put it in an automated trolley line. This will be its town station. All of these buildings here in the city of Morningwood, they all came from one of the estates I bought. I made the fire department one. In previous videos, I let y'all know my son's a fireman, so it's kind of a tribute to that. The trolley stalled out. Here's some more buildings from that cell. I have my track cleaning cars all here on one line. These buildings here are from one of the cells. As you can see, winter is full bore up here. In fact, last weekend we've had the most snow that my city has seen. I live between Lake Gregory and Lake Arrowhead. Most snow in quite some time up here in Southern California mountains. But on this Kato automatic signal, it has these tracks with the optic eye in it, and I moved it to, I want the bell to start ringing when it's over here, and pulling these wires out of these optic eyes ruined it. Now I'm going to have to order the extension pack and complete that back again. Then I'm going to take this one out and I'm going to mount it over here, just because from here to here it's just too quick. The gates hardly get down before the trolley goes by. I'm going to take the road out of here, fake it into the mountain, come out in the mountain, and drop down, and it's going to make its way over to the city of Morningwood. Oh, we got the lead engine separated. These are Fox Valley models, and a little disappointed with their performance on staying coupled. I have worked and worked and worked on them. There goes that trolley. I have it going fast just to warm it up. I notice in this cold weather up here that all the engines run sluggish for about 5 minutes or so. I keep my house at 65. I don't like to waste the heat. Then it clogs up my sinus and takes away model railroading money. I use my fireplace downstairs in the evening, and if I'm up here, that's just a waste as well. Well, as you can see here, I'm starting a divider between the two scenes. The amusement park is still going to go up here as planned, down into the parking lot, the circus ring, and I think I'll have a tunnel for parking, fake it out here. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave this up here. I like the way it blocks some of that, and you see the train go through the buildings, and the buildings aren't too bad for far away modeling. And I've been slowly developing this side. I have power for 12-volt accessories over here. This little fuel island has a light in it. And we're kind of building this scene over here for the siding. And then put in another one of these computer keyboard drawers. And this will be my first for here, but I'm going to need a control panel here for all the amusement rides up here, lighting on this side of the board. I can't tell you how much scenery supply. I must have got a couple thousand trees out of both estates. So that's really going to help out up here. I took that cover off that corner because it gives me more visible railway, and I have a couple ideas what I'm going to do over here with the stream, and I haven't brought up my sawmill with the working wheel and everything for the lumber company, and that's got to go here. This is going to be the waterfall, and then coming either into a lake. I had this for a hand grab for when this was covered. But of course this will be just a scene divider between the two from the amusement park and this. This will be heavy forest. I was thinking maybe even a lake here with some swimmers. Maybe a little campground, miniature golf course. I haven't decided yet. And of course this will be cut down, and then I'll continue the divider straight across this way into here. I'm also considering, well, let me tell you a little story here about this Kato Double switch. When I had it in a throw position, coming off here was always dead track. And then it started coming this way that it would be dead track right through the middle. No matter what size locomotives it was, either a switcher, an F7, one of the big Santa Fe's. You can see all the different size engines I have on my fleet. And every time we'd come through here to cross over, it would die out. And I actually bought, this is my second switch here, because I tried everything, cleaning it, adjusting the screws, could not figure out what was happening. And then one night I just sat down and just went through every connection. These are now soldered and soldered and soldered, so I knew I was getting electricity. Voltmeter showed me that I was having current on all sides, and I thought it was here on this frog, and I pinched that in, and I kind of, ground a little bit inside, so this folds out, makes really good contact. And then I put a piece of wire. See these black isolations? I guess if you were running DC, you would probably have to wire it out separately for the crossovers. But for some reason, both switches, my new one, this one, and the one I took out of here, the new one did the same thing. So I thought it was actually tilted or something was wrong throwing off the engines. But I started running jumping wires on the different tracks, and then I put one in between the two here, and it runs perfect all the time. Doesn't matter what size engine I'm running there. So I've had, this is my second switch here, both switches, same direction, same problem. So it might be a malfunction with the Kato manufacturing, but if you're having that trouble, run a jumper wire on the inside on these two long straights. Now I haven't had to put one on this side. You see it will cross over without any stall. I don't lose any lights, nothing. And it was at the point where I couldn't go either direction without having a problem here. Just strange. And then after I did my little jumper wire, I touched it up with a little black paint. I think only someone who's really into Kato would notice that that track has been modified. But if that helps someone out with getting through that problem, I cleaned everything. The adjusting screws, for the frog throw, I thought it might be in that, because sometimes you'd adjust that or hold it a little bit and then the train would go through it. So I worked on that and worked on that, and then I just thought I was going to have to live with it. It's about $60 for this switch. And then finally figured out that jumper. So definitely, if you're having that issue on your crossovers, start running a jumper wire between the two. You can do it on the inside or do it on the inside there. And if that makes the engine go, you need to make the jump there. Now I run DCC, so I don't know if that's true in DC, because I believe that that's like an insulated crossing. I tell you, when I finally figured out what was happening there, I was so happy. Now with the old switch, what I'm thinking of doing is this is going to go off and go through the wall, and then I'm just going to have a long straight 6 tracks on the other side, and you see this switch here that goes underneath there and goes out to that wall, go out that way, and then it will connect and come to here. But prior to this switch, that double crossover switch that I took out, I'm thinking of placing here, because now I know how to fix that. So then it can come out this way and go 2 leads in, and then coming out you could either switch out to this main or come across and then put one single switch down there after that double and have a bridge crawl under here. But I don't think that would work out with the people, and you have to excuse the mess. You can see a lot of the inventory that I kept from the estate sales. And just I'm embarrassed to show it all, but it's just so much that I'm keeping. I've just kept that up, and I probably have, I don't know, 10 bags like this of full different ground covers, boxes of trees, homemade trees. Just wonderful stuff, vintage and new. So let's see here. Most recently, this is my first crossing and filling. I used Sculptamold there. I put in a little brown tempera paint into the white Sculptamold before I mixed it up. I find that's a lot easier to work with when I come to cover it. And leveled this up here to the trolley track. I have 2 trolleys, and since you can turn the turntable there to bring this one off and service it over here. And then up here, I've decided to go ahead and fill in this gap. I'm going to have a tunnel on a level area for more of an industrial downtown or another farther city scene up here. Also just to kind of hide the grade. And I have a lot more models that I can put up there. But first I put in the Sculptamold, and then I'm going to go over it with some brown tempera and mix a little white glue in with that. And then I think I will just put ballast down through there. So it's coming along. I laid out my road. This, you know, is a peel adhesive. Then I can put a little Sculptamold around it. But this is just temporary. As you can see, it's kind of dusty. It's been here for a while. And I'll play out all these different buildings. And literally, with one of the estates that I bought, I probably got 5,000 different vehicles. This N-Scaler did a lot of train shows. And after he passed away, his wife just sold everything that he had. And some of it is just really, really cool stuff. And since I free model, I don't care if it's 1940s or a newer Shell station, this older one. If I like it, I put it together. But I think this church is going to come out of here, and I'm going to put a passenger station here. And I'm going to put some yard lights down through there since I have those 3 staging. And if you remember from my other episodes, this works as a reversing track coming off the main line and coming around these 3 tracks here. There's an automatic reverser down there. And then when it crosses this, it automatically switches the polarity for me. And then I'm heading out on the main line in the reverse direction and coming back around. And the other reverse loop goes in here and circles around underneath, and then comes underneath the amusement park, and then comes back out in the opposite direction. Also, I can hide a train underneath the amusement park, or a short one underneath the 2nd story, and then when I add that mountain, it will even be a bigger area to hide a train in. I've been to a couple open houses where all of a sudden where the trains just kind of keep appearing and other trains disappear. It really adds to the depth and really looks like there's so much more going on. And then you can see some of these pictures that also came in the estate sales, and if I see a railroad picture on the wall at an estate sale, I will pick that up as well. And this is a signed one, artist proof. Fred Boeing. Picked that up in a thrift store from my eBay store, and I liked it so much I'm going to keep it. And see that big poster up there? So it's kind of coming along. I've really been getting more into the aesthetics. Now that I got that darn switch fixed, For some reason, that just really held me back because, as I've said in previous videos, this is my 4th layout, and I want it running perfectly. And besides the occasional derailment from a dirty wheel, which is understandable. But this really made it to where I didn't even want to move on until I got that figured out. And that was such a simple fix. I should have done that one of the first things. But this is my first layout where I've ever had double switches, so I'm kind of learning a little bit with that too. And I'll tell you, that Kato roundhouse works perfectly. If you're considering a roundhouse, absolutely get it. These are both Kato buildings. There are 2 of them. Each one is a 3-stall unit. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little update. I'll, next update, or maybe when I work on this, I'll film that. Alright everyone, happy railroading.